In early October 2025, French naval forces intercepted and boarded an oil tanker named Boracay off the coast of Saint-Nazaire, France. The Boracay is believed to be part of Russia's so-called shadow fleet, a collection of ships used to move oil in ways that evade international sanctions. French authorities say the tanker is already under sanction by both the European Union and the United States. This event occurred just a day after France announced it was investigating Boracay for serious offenses relating to French and European security. The timing shows that French authorities are moving from observation to direct action. Let's explore what is going on, why it matters, and what it may signal for geopolitics, maritime security, and sanctions enforcement. What is the Boracay? Why Shadow Fleet? The Boracay, also previously known under names like Pushpa, is a large crude oil tanker. It is reported to be Benin flagged, meaning the ship claims legal registration in Benin. But ships in the Shadow Fleet often use fraudulent or opaque registrations, change name and flag many times, and conceal real ownership to avoid detection or legal liability. The Shadow Fleet term refers to vessels that help Russian oil or other sanctioned shipments move across seas in ways that try to evade sanctions, inspections, or scrutiny. They may turn off tracking signals, masquerade under false identities or flags, or sail via circuitous routes. In the case of Boracay, the tanker is suspected not just of evading sanctions, but also potentially being involved in drone operations over Danish airspace in late September 2025. Danish authorities reported that drones caused temporary closures of Copenhagen and Aalborg airports, and intelligence tied possible launches to ships in the region. That suggests a hybrid or security threat beyond just illicit shipping. The French interception and investigation. French naval forces boarded Boracay while it was anchored off Saint-Nazaire. The ship had just passed through maritime routes around Denmark and the Baltic Sea before arriving in French waters. French prosecutors in Brest have opened a formal investigation. The charges or suspicions include the crew's failure to explain the ship's nationality or flag registration, and refusal to cooperate with French authorities. French President Emmanuel Macron publicly expressed his support for the investigation, stating that the case underscores the reality of Russia's shadow fleet, estimated to include 600 to 1,000 vessels, which helps fund a large portion of Russia's war effort. Macron described the alleged infractions as very serious wrongdoings. When asked, the Kremlin said it had no specific knowledge about the tanker, but Russian officials described some foreign naval actions as provocative. In short, what was once speculation or monitoring has now become a legal and naval confrontation. 1. Enforcing sanctions and closing loopholes. The interception sends a clear message. Ships attempting to evade sanctions will face consequences. Many nations have had difficulty policing shadow fleets, especially when vessels change identity or sail under weak flags. By boarding and investigating, France is pushing back against those evasive tactics. 2. Maritime security and hybrid threats. If the drone activity over Denmark was indeed launched from or coordinated with vessels like Boracay, then the risk is not just commercial evasion, it's security. Drones over airports disrupt civilian life. Such capabilities can turn shipping vessels into dual-use platforms, civilian plus military. This raises the stakes for naval surveillance and response in European waters. 3. Geopolitics and signaling. By intervening, France reinforces its role in European security. It also signals to Russia and others that Europe will not tolerate covert operations in its domain. Macron's remarks about the scale of the Shadow Fleet and its war-financing role bring the issue to public and political attention. 4. Legal and jurisdictional challenges. Tackling Shadow Fleet operations is complex. Ships often claim dubious flag states or shift registration. Investigations must prove violations under maritime law, sanctions law, and national statutes. A ship refusing to cooperate or hiding data makes prosecution difficult. The Boracay case tests how effective national authorities can be when dealing with elusive sea actors. Risks, questions, and potential outcomes. Evidence and attribution. Pinning responsibility for the drone incursions or sanction violations will require solid evidence. Proof that the tanker was used in these operations, rather than just passing nearby, is critical. Diplomatic backlash. Russia may protest or retaliate diplomatically. The Kremlin is already framing some foreign moves as provocations. Precedent for Europe. If this case results in successful prosecution or seizure, other EU countries may feel empowered to intercept suspected shadow fleet vessels in their waters. Escalation of maritime tactics. Shadow fleet operators may respond by being even more secretive, using more advanced countermeasures, e.g., signal jamming, stealth routes, decoy ships, or shifting operations to less policed areas. The French Navy's interception and boarding of the Boracay tanker off Saint-Nazaire is more than just a law enforcement action at sea. It is a confrontation with a maritime network built to subvert sanctions, a direct response to hybrid security threats like drone operations, and a signal of Europe's willingness to defend its borders, even offshore.